Let your body take control. You're on my mind, baby. Just move a little closer. And I say, oh, it's a night we'll both remember. Oh, sweet surrender. Oh, we're moving close together. Wanna make your body
Tuesday on this shortened work week because of the Memorial Day holiday, federal holiday. Some of you have a shortened work week. I know I do, but I know not everybody does. But, everyone gets through life the way they need to get through life. So, we're going to talk a little bit about the good doctor today. There's a couple articles I found fascinating, and what our government is doing regarding the plan that seems to be working in certain politicians' favor. Also known as the COOF, also known as Stupid 19. And then little education news, things happening in your local universities. And then also a little bit about an event that was supposed to be in commemorating the 100th anniversary of the race war in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as some locals tore down what is commonly known as Black Wall Street. Fascinating story, and a couple of incidents about that's going on right now that makes you scratch your head a little bit. But, Twitter's been pushing this story like crazy, which is fine. It's American history, and it's important history. But some people have kind of spoiled the commemoration, so to speak. So anyway, we'll get into that. There's a couple other breaking news stories we'll get to, and all of that and more just in about a minute. Johnny, play the intro, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight.
All right, let's stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawg Knight on the internet, and welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. Today is Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2021. The pool is open, but the pump ain't running. Yes, this house that we bought with a pool that, and believe me, it's not extravagant. We bought our house from a bank and got it for really cheap in a really nice neighborhood and had to do a lot of work before we moved in. But it also came with this big hole in the ground that you put water in, and it's supposed to be for your relaxation pleasures. And today it's not so much a pleasure for me because we got to get some plumbing fixed on it. So anyway, but the pool's close to being open, so come on over in about a month. Anyway, welcome to the show. Let's say good morning to everybody because we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I am just let's just say good morning because I'm gonna get caught up on this. I don't have as many tabs open, but I'm gonna go a little more in depth in some of them, so that's it's gonna take a little bit more time to do that. Plus I do have to be on time today getting out of here, so we'll see what happens. I'll do my damnedest. But anyway, first of all, good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the devil's advocate. Why can't I hear myself? There we go. Good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the devil's advocate. Nice to see you this morning in the chat. And you are here first, and I am just, God, come on, Mart, get your shit together. Good Lord, what are you doing? Hang on, let me fix something right away because let's see, hang on. 1, 2, oh, ooh, that was kind of loud. Let's see here. There we go. You get the bell, Advocatus Diaboli, for being here first. Thank you for showing up this morning. Also, good morning, Paul Farrell, Zero the Hero, LA Prepper, Gunfox61, the administrator of our Discord server. And also we got Tarai Deos, Hate Camel, Keenan, what's up? Also, good morning, Renee Mayette, Jonathan Peterson, Ost San, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning to People's Front of Canada and Infamous One. I'm glad you're all here. And there's anyone who happens to be lurking in the background, working, driving and thriving. Just sit back and relax and keep your eyes on the road if you got your hands on a steering wheel. All right. Let's get into it quick today. Oh, Sapphire Dragon's in the house too. I'm sure that I'll miss a few. Anyway, here we go. I got, let's start with Well, let's start with the feature today, the feature on the thumbnail, and that would be Dr. Anthony Fauci, the world's greatest scientific mind, master medical doctor, and the smartest person on the planet, if you ask some people, regarding the stupid 19. Anyway, interesting. I'll move this to back because that's news. Hang on. Let me make sure. Okay, I'll put that in between those. Hang on a second. I don't even have one. I can't do it. Here we go. Hang on. There we go. Had to get that out. So let's start with Dr. Anthony Fauci today because, we've been talking a lot about the stupid 19 and all kinds of stuff. And apparently, now this came after my show Friday, and I didn't see it over the weekend, and I just saw this morning. Good morning, Ronan. How you doing? And Maddie, who's certainly in the background. So I missed this on Friday, and just actually caught it this morning. But apparently, some unearthed evidence shows that Fauci defended integral gain of function research despite the pandemic risks. Dr. Anthony Fauci appeared to defend gain of function research as important despite its pandemic risk in a 2012 paper exposed by The Australian. The National Pulse can also reveal similar comments from the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director. During a 2012 conference, he focused on the contraformer research hosted by the National Institute of Health at the December event. Gain of function research on HPAI H5N1 viruses counted Fauci as a speaker during the introductory session. The National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director appeared to defend gain of function research, which increases the virulence and lethality of infectious diseases, as integral. He also describes his agency as the major funder of most, but not all, of these people who carry out the form of research. Fauci acknowledged the potential drawbacks of gain-of-function research, noting there was a concern that the products or information generated by these experiments might be used by others in a way that could harm society, either carelessly or in an unregulated fashion by inexperienced people, or even by deliberate misuse. So apparently these are the slides from his presentation. So here's the gain-of-function research as integral infectious disease research. Study naturally occurring mutations and their effects on phenotypes of interest, or create such mutations via passage adaptation or newer genetic techniques. Often some phenotypes appear increase while others disappear and decrease. Gain and loss of function research is critical to understanding disease pathogenesis, antimicrobial resistance, and host responses, and to developing vaccines. So seems like there's another slide from his presentation here. National Institute of something or whatever, NIAID only funds gain of function research on HPA H5N1 viruses for those researchers who are highly trained, skilled, experienced, and adequately regulated. The issue has not been a major concern about those investigators, but a concern that the products information that they generate might be used by others in a way that could harm society, careless, unregulated, inexperienced, deliberate. There are disagreements as to the scientific and or public health value of these gain-of-function experiments. However, even the most concerned members of the NSABB felt that the experiments should be done, but the distribution of their knowledge should be restricted. So fascinating. And then they got video of here. Let's see, how long is this? Yeah, it's 43 minutes long. You can watch that. I'll put this in the links down below, or in the link to the links down below, in which all of these shows all the articles and information that I present today will be in that single one tab link, links to all the stories on one page. Writing for the American Society of Microbiology in October 2012, Fauci also posted that the risky form of research could trigger a pandemic. Funny, because in 2017, he also mentioned how Trump is definitely going to face some sort of unknown disease, pandemic, whatever. It gets thicker and thicker, don't it? It's amazing. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, Jenna Ghost Bear, and LA Prepper. Did I say LA Prepper earlier? I meant to. Did I miss you before? I hope not. Anyway. And then let's see. Scientists working in this field might say, indeed as I have said, that the benefits of such experiments and resulting knowledge outweigh the risk. More likely that the pandemic would occur naturally in the paper, first reported by the Australians Sherry Marks. Anyway, we cannot expect to have. Let's see. What did he say? We cannot expect those who have these concerns to simply take us, the scientific community, at our word that the benefits of this work outweigh the risk, nor can we ignore their calls for greater transparency, their concerns about conflicts of interest, and their efforts to engage in a dialogue about whether these experiments should have been performed in the first place, Fauci added. Yeah. So anyway, he's got the whole paper here by Dr. Anthony Fauci, research on highly pathogenic H5N1 influenza virus, the way forward. So, it's fascinating. Hello, Maddie. How are you doing? Fascinating that Dr. Fauci was all about this gain of function research. Now, there is some speculation out there that Fauci might be having his career ended or ending his career, whichever way you prefer to say it, but not to children. There's a children's book coming out about Dr. Anthony Fauci. A fascinating bit of propaganda coming out. The book praises Fauci and insists that COVID-19 stabs, aka stupid 19 stabs, make you a superhero. Oh, this is so tiresome. So tiresome. A forthcoming children's book highlighting the work of Dr. Anthony Fauci. How a boy from Brooklyn became America's doctor pushes COVID-19, stupid 19 stabs on its young audience and addresses the origin of the coof. Set to be published by Simon & Schuster on June 29th, 2021. The book is meant for 4 to 8-year-olds. Written by Joe Biden-loving children's author Kate Mesner, and the book brands itself as the definitive picture book biography of Fauci, one of the most crucial figures in the stupid 19 pandemic. Well, he seems to be becoming more crucial every day, doesn't he? With every new revelation about the funding of gain-of-function research. Anyway, a summary of the book reveals the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease director participated in interviews for the book. Dog. Oh, I didn't realize I had the sound off on that. Thank you, GunFox61, being the first sponsor of the day, and from Streamlabs.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you, GunFox61, with a deuce, who says Falcon, aka Fauci, should be shot for treason and aiding and abetting a hostile foreign nation, aka China, and CRT is racist. Changed my mind. Well, good Lord. That's a mouthful, and I'm not here to change your mind, Gunfox. I'm going to let you take in all the information that we bring about and let you decide, and but I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. Okay, good morning, always lost and nothing else, aka alone. All right. Oh, lots of noise upstairs. Apparently my wife's up. So anyway, the Dr. Fauci participated in interviews for this children's book. Aw. Isn't that special? Before he was Dr. Fauci, director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, Anthony Fauci was a curious boy in Brooklyn, delivering prescriptions from his father's pharmacy on his blue Schwinn bicycle. His father, an immigrant grandfather, taught Anthony to ask questions, consider all the data, and never give up. And Anthony's ability to stay curious and to communicate with people would serve him his entire life. This engaging narrative, which draws from interviews the author did with Dr. Anthony Fauci himself, follows Anthony from his Brooklyn beginnings through medical school and his challenging role with working with 7 U.S. presidents to tackle some of the biggest public health challenges of the past 50 years, including the stupid 19 pandemic. Wow, that book sounds exciting. And beyond detailing Fauci's personal life, the book also touches on subjects. Is this about Fauci or Joe Biden? I'm sorry, including stabs as evidenced by its synopsis, which says, extensive back matter rounds out Dr. Fauci's story with a timeline, recommended reading, a full spread of facts about vaccines and how they work, and Dr. Fauci's own tips for future scientists. Well, I just can't wait for Dr. Fauci's tips to future scientists, a guy who hasn't practiced medicine since 1968. Anyway, Fauci also participated in a Zoom-hosted promotional interview for the book with the book's author entitled, quote, Fauci talks with kids about science and vaccines, end quote, where the author reveals at the end of our picture book biography, we have a section about how vaccines work, and it talks about how being vaccinated sort of makes you a disease-fighting superhero. Oh, good. I'm so verklempt. Hello, Zero the Hero. Yeah, can I vomit any harder from this book? You know what? It is projectile vomit inducing, I gotta tell you. Now it's up to us to get the vaccine made quickly enough to get to people, including children, Fauci notes during the interview before explaining that stupid 19 stabs protocols and encouraging individuals to get stabbed. Fan-flippin-tastic. I think, let's see, they have the interview here. Yeah, it's 9 minutes long, so we're not going to watch it. But hey, I encourage you, if you want to, if you've got some, had a bad, piece of lettuce in your salad and you're trying to get it out, you can watch that interview. It also appears to reference listen to this. It also appears to reference the origins of Stupid 19 with an excerpt from the book reading, quote, a virus too tiny to see had stopped the whole world in its tracks. Where had it come from? Why was it spreading so quickly? How could anyone stay safe? I bet he talks about masks. Even though 80% of the people who had COVID were wearing masks. Anyway, and despite the question, the book appears to contain no reference to the NIAID director's continued flip-flopping on Stupid 19's origins or his agency's role in funding and collaborating with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Well, oh my gosh, why isn't that in there? Come on, man. I just said that, Joe. Is Uncle Bad Touch in here somewhere? What are you doing? Anyway, so good Lord, look at this cover sleeve. Don't get discouraged. Think about it carefully. Try to work it out. Well, that is such some great advice. The deification of Dr. Anthony Fauci continues. Okay, but let's get real now. There's a good chance. Some people are saying that Fauci's going to be gone soon, and it wouldn't be a shocker. If you kind of noticed that the tone of articles about Dr. Fauci has kind of changed a little bit, and there's a lot more. You're starting to hear a lot more about these issues with the the Wuhan lab and the National Institute of Health, and how they funded some of the research, and now that Rand Paul kind of dragged him in that congressional hearing and whatnot. Well, a lot has happened in the last 2 weeks. This is from the American Thinker. It says Fauci will be gone in 90 days. A lot has happened in the last 2 weeks that may result in the retirement of Dr. Anthony Fauci. The face of the government's Stupid 19 response may have finally met his Waterloo. The way things are going, a forced retirement at age 80 may be the best outcome that Dr. Doom can expect. It turns out that all roads to Stupid 19, even more than we expected, Lead back to Dr. Fauci. Finally, after a year of stonewalling obfuscation, the news about Fauci's apparent role in directing the U.S. government funding to the notorious Wuhan virology lab and the identification of that facility as the source of the worldwide stupid 19 pandemic have gone incredibly mainstream. Previously reporting and analysis on these issues has been the province of political outliers like Stephen K. Bannon and the guest on his 6 days a week War Room Pandemic Internet program, which is now getting renewed attention. As this publication reported here, in quote, Dr. Fauci finally unmasked, end quote, on May 17th, the cat was coming out of the bag and inevitably the truth will out. But I could not have imagined how quickly the tide against Fauci would turn. The new bottom line was articulated by Dr. Peter Navarro, who was a top assistant to President Trump during POTUS 45's entire 4 years in the White House. Since last fall, Navarro has been indefatigable. Oh God, I can't even say that word. Indefatigable in his probing of last November's election fraud and the equally monstrous frauds, cover-ups, and psyops surrounding the stupid 19 pandemic. Last week, speaking on an episode of Bannon's War Room Pandemic, where he is a frequent guest, Navarro said out loud, quote, Fauci will be gone in 90 days. Hey! So finally, some good news. Good. Well, we'll see. That prediction seems less of a pipe dream every day as the mainstream media does a 180-degree turn on their previous disinterest in the stories of stupid 19's origin and Fauci's possible role in it, not only in failing miserably to control the virus, but in being an accomplice to its creation in the first place. Gain-of-function research. The sign of the sea change was reflected in a New York Times page 1 headline on May 27th. Quote, Biden orders intelligence inquiry into origins of virus. It's obvious that this order was not a result of effective common sense leadership, rather because of mounting political and media pressure to do something. The same day on May 27th, the Times sent an email to tens of millions of people on its list titled, quote, The lab leak theory is everywhere. We have an explainer. Oh, kind of like Vox, right? 2 days earlier, the Washington Post published a lengthy article titled Timeline, How the Wuhan Lab Leak Theory Suddenly Became Credible. This was a de facto mea culpa for the paper's previous pathetic, politically driven coverage without calling it an apology. Well, of course, they're not going to apologize. They're going to pretend they never said anything in the first place. Then they'll probably go back and quietly edit some old stories. Well, they already have. They've been caught. Anyway, it omitted mentions of many sources, including Steve Bannon and Red China refugee whistleblower Dr. Li Mengyan. It did not take note of a scientific paper posted on February 6, 2020 by Batao Zhao, molecular biomechanics researcher at South China University of Technology. The title of Zhao's paper was The Possible Origins of 2019 nCoV Coronavirus. It states that the killer coronavirus probably originated from a laboratory in Wuhan. Leading the charge to bring these developments into the mainstream, building on the reporting and analysis of many others during the past year, has been Fox News. Last week, for example, Fox featured a variety of reports about the Wuhan virology lab being the source of stupid 19 on multiple programs, not only opinion shows, but on hard news programs. For a number of days, continued to the present time, it seems like every Fox News program was featuring reports on these subjects, often as the lead stories. This reporting was accompanied by accounts that Fauci allegedly directed at least $600,000 in National Institute of Health research funds to the Wuhan lab, where evidence suggests the funds may have been employed to support gain-of-function research. So it's all coming out. There's more to this article, but what's fascinating is when the Biden team originally here's this quote here. Biden's team shut down the closely held State Department effort launched at late in the Trump administration to prove the coronavirus originated in a Chinese lab over concerns about the quality of its work, according to 3 sources familiar with the decision. Now, though, they are coming back and saying, oh, no, we need to check this out now. So that's a turnabout by the Biden administration. and there's a whole lot more in this article, but the bottom line is, it seems as though some of this mainstream media that normally would not even acknowledge things that Trump said, seems like they're about to say Trump is right. Trump was right. Is it so hard, media? Is it really that hard just to go, okay, in this instance where we didn't agree with the former president, the president was right. And then they'll tell some more lies about him saying you should inject bleach and stupid shit like that. But anyway, all right, before I move on, good morning, Zablé. Zablé is in the house, and also good morning, Cashapp, also Asian Research Directorate. And I think I said hi to Maddie already, so I'm seemingly caught up here. Before you, as you're watching the show, let me just ask you a couple favors. One, if you like what we do, hit a like button anytime during the show. The earlier the better, because then you won't forget. Also, please share the stream out if you haven't already done so. Twitter, Minds, Gabs, Parler, Cloud Hub, Facebook, whatever other social media might be on. Just click that share arrow that's down here, and a couple more clicks will get that onto wherever you want to share this with. Share with your friends, share with your neighbor. We're growing slowly, surely, but that'll help us grow faster. Also, if you want to support the show, as GunFox61 did, you can do that via the Streamlabs link in the description down below, or in the chat, or through YouTube Super Chats during the show. I'll read your infinite wisdom on the show, of course, and or off the show. Streamlabs works 24 hours a day. Also, Cashapp and Venmo. So that's that. Now let's move on, because just one more story on. Oh gosh! Now this week in poor taste. Oh, good morning, Don Keatic, and also Lord Stanhope. This week in bad taste. Here's a hat shop. What city is this in? Nashville, Tennessee. Yes. They went a little bit overboard on just an idea that maybe they should have thought twice about in their head. Because this hat shop has had to apologize for selling yellow non-vaccinated stars. Now, I get the temptation to use certain imagery to make a point, but this one might have been a little too far. A hat shop owner in Nashville is apologizing for outrage over the store selling not vaccinated yellow stars fashioned after the insignia Jews were forced to wear by Nazis, as it hit social media. Hatworks, the store that offered the item for $5, is run by haberdasher Gigi Gaskins. In an Instagram post, there was an explanation for why she compared unvaccinated people to Holocaust-era Jews. In no way did I intend to trivialize the Star of David or disrespect what happened to millions of people, read the unsigned apology post on the Instagram page of Hatworks Nashville. My hope was to share my genuine concern and fear, and to do all that I can to make sure nothing like that ever happens again. I sincerely apologize for any insensitivity. Let's see. A few guys are trading off holding this banner in front of Hatworks in Nashville. Now, it's fascinating that she's being described as a Nazi. I don't think that was her point at all. I don't think she supports those people who supported the guy with the funny mustache at all. It was more like people being persecuted, saying the government was acting more like the government of the guy with the funny mustache. But these guys are making it sound like, making her be that description. And I don't think let's just say this was not a well thought out stunt. Anyway, a statement against the stigma being slapped on people who chose not to get vaccinated is one thing, but comparing that stigma to the Yellow Star of David and the humiliation and degradation of European Jews is a bit out of bounds. A bit, I added the bit, but it's out of bounds. And the analogy isn't even the same universe. According to the New York Post, Hatworks also came under fire for comparing stupid 19 vaccine passports to the Nazi practice of Jews demanding Jews show your papers, and promoting a false conspiracy theory for claims that stabs contain microchips on its Instagram page. Amid the backlash, one of its partners in the John B. Stetson Company announced on Saturday night that it would be cutting off sales of its products in the store. That's huge because Stetson's one of the major hat makers. If you're, have a hat store, have one of the most major hat companies around remove their products from your stores, not a good thing. Anyway, as a result of the offensive content and opinions shared by Hatworks in Nashville, Stetson and our distribution partners will cease the sale of all Stetson products, company wrote on Twitter. Now, here's the thing, though. Are people allowed to make kind of stupid mistakes, as Avocados Diablo put there, swing and a miss? I don't know that they need to cancel that, but they certainly can, drop the silly product and be, she's being described as a Nazi because she was in D.C. on January 6th. Oh, yeah, see, now that can get, clearly the knuckleheads who are prone to call people Nazis are all over that. But anyway, equally offensive may be a statement that replaced the star picture. Before it apologized, Hatworks had replaced the Instagram post showing off the badge on its account with an unsigned statement that said, "People are so outraged by my post, but are you outraged with the tyranny the world is experiencing?" Now, I don't know why that's an outrageous statement. But anyway, wait, let's see. Let's finish this. If you don't understand what is happening, that is on you, not me. Pay much more respect to history by standing up with the fallen and offering silence and compliance, the statement said. That is the worst crime. It was then and is now. I will delete your disgust and hope you all put it where it belongs. Look, now it's just gone too far. But and that statement, I don't disagree with that. The government's overreaching, and we need to fight that too. But it's just one of those images that you go, okay, this is not like being put into camps and starved to death and gassed and all that stuff. But anyway, here it is. Gaskins apparently attended the Trump rally prior to the riot breaking out on January 6th. So did about 50,000 other people. It's not her policies that should be at issue, but rather her morbidly exaggerated statement. What the owner doesn't understand is there always ways to fight stab mandates that aren't incendiary or hurtful. Oh, good Lord. And a group of 117 unvaccinated staffers from Houston Methodist Hospital filed a lawsuit Friday seeking to avoid the hospital's stupid 19 vaccine mandate, saying it's unlawful for bosses to require the shots. Oh, we're going to get to a story about that too. And I don't know why that didn't show up. Anyway, the staffers join a growing list of employees challenging compulsory immunization at businesses, colleges, and other workplaces essential to the country's reopening. Stabbed mandates have faced mounting resistance from anti-vaccination groups and some Republican politicians, even as health officials promote the proven safety of the vaccines and millions of Americans line up to get the shots every week. Okay, that is a Washington Post story, so don't get it twisted. Their language of, oh, they're perfectly safe, we know everything about them, and yada yada yada. Well, they might be safe, and they're safe enough for emergency use. Still haven't been approved by the FDA. Anyway. Millions lined up to get the shots every week, and millions choose not to. The choice is respected, even celebrated. One choice is respected and even celebrated. The other is not. The reason people choose not to get stabbed is not always anti-science or because of some brainless conspiracy theory about microchips. In fact, it's no one's business why someone chooses not to be vaccinated. Truth, justice, the American way. Forcing people to ingest anything for any reason is undemocratic, and people are fighting this notion that we should turn America into a two-tiered nation, separating the stabbed from the unstabbed. If we're going to roll out privileges and goodies and passports to those who've been stabbed while denying them to those who haven't, we will stratify society and create the conditions of inequality and encourage oppression. Yep. But the hat shop owner was dead wrong in her efforts to make a political statement, but so too are the mandate lovers who just can't seem to let go of the control they were given when the pandemic was at its height. So here, agree with that fully. All right, real quick, I got a couple more stories and then we're going to get on to some other topic. Now, here's a good one, and I mentioned this Friday, and I don't think I said it yesterday, but there's a report out that the stupid 19 antibodies may last a lifetime. And this was, let's see, if you've had stupid 19, you've likely been told that your antibodies last a few weeks or months at the maximum. However, new research suggests that many will make the antibodies against the virus for most of their lives. Researchers have identified long-lasting cells which produce antibodies in the bone marrow of people who have recovered from the virus, per Nature magazine. The study provides evidence that immunity will last longer than once thought. The implications are that the stabs will have the same durable effect. Menno van Zelm, an immunologist at Monash University in Australia, said the antibodies are the key to immune defense as they are essentially serve as a block for the virus after new infection. Short-lived cells called plasmablasts are an early source of antibodies, but they disappear soon after the body fights off the virus, and other long-lasting cells make the antibodies. The plasma cell is our life history in terms of the pathogens we've been exposed to. Ali Elabedi, an immunologist at Washington University in St. Louis, who led the study, said. So, that is fantastic news for me, because I've already had stupid 19, and I've been telling people. The first study they had out said, yeah, maybe a year. Now it says maybe much longer lasting, long-term protection from this disease, and that's a good thing for people who've had it. There have been an extremely rare few people in the world who have had a reinfection, and those may have been people who weren't infected the first time. Could have been a false positive, and they got and then they really had it, or they could have had a false positive after. It's less than, like, right now it's still less than 2,000 people out of the entire world of people who've been they say that they have documented they've been reinfected. So that's a good thing, and supposedly good news. However, the Biden administration, remember we were just talking about the workers in that hospital that, were fighting the fact that the hospital is demanding they get vaccinated to work. Well, the Biden administration, in their ever wisdom and glory, according to the EEOC, they say that your employer can force you to get stabbed. Well, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission says that there's nothing in federal law that can prevent an employer from compelling employees to be stabbed in order to work. However, the EEOC also said that for employees who have a religious objection or a physical disability that prevents them from receiving the vaccine, an employer must provide reasonable accommodations. Those accommodations could include forcing an unvaccinated employee to wear a mask, be socially distanced from other employees, or allowed to work from home. Quote from the Wall Street Journal: the updated guidance is intended to answer frequently asked questions, EEOC Chairwoman Charlotte Burrows said in a statement. She said the agency will continue to update and clarify its assistance for employees. The commission is an independent bipartisan agency. That means it might have a single Republican on it, if you know what I mean. That enforces workplace civil rights laws. The 5-person body is led by Ms. Burrows, a Democrat whom President Biden elevated to the top position. It also, it does include 3 Republican members nominated by former President Donald Trump. Well, that's a shocker. That's a shocker right there. So they say there's nothing stopping them. Okay, let's see this again. There's nothing in federal law that can prevent an employee from compelling employees to be vaccinated. Interesting. Many employees are foregoing a vaccine requirement in lieu of incentives. JBS USA, the biggest U.S. beef processor, the Pilgrim's Pride, the top poultry supplier, will not require plant workers to get the vaccine, a spokesman for the company said. A Bolthouse Farm spokesman said the company didn't have plans to mandate vaccines. Dollar General, Trader Joe's, and Instacart didn't respond to requests for comment on Friday. All right, well, whatever. I think that somebody's going to say that somebody's going to take that to court if they think that's incorrect. What's that? I understand as a military member, but as soon as a non-military member, that makes no sense. I'm not sure. I hate to tell you, but they can. Employment is voluntary and can be terminated by either party for most any reason. Yeah, in most states, it can. I think it's just misguided, especially right now when it's hard enough to get employees just about for any job. So especially you bigger companies, if you're willing to have that fight, good luck to you, I got to say. All right, let's do something, just an interim story here that we've been talking about this, so I thought I'd bring it up. The courts have ruled against a race-based restaurant relief distribution. Remember this? When the American Rescue Plan Act was passed, it contained a special program to help restaurant owners who had been placed on financial peril by the government-mandated stupid 19 shutdowns. Administered through the Small Business Administration, the program is known as the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. RFF offered grants and forgivable loans to owners of eateries who fell into that category. But the way the SBA under the Biden administration planned to roll it out contained a poison pill for many owners. Anyone could apply for the program, but businesses owned by women and minorities would be placed in a priority queue to receive relief first. In other words, if you happen to be a white male restaurant owner, you were set at the back of the line and hope that the funds wouldn't be dried up by the time your turn came. Well, we know that this lawsuit happened, and the Biden administration's effort to distribute federal benefits by race is already running into legal trouble. Two rulings last week sided with the plaintiffs who sued the Small Business Administration for violating equal treatment under the law. At issue is the SBA's requirement that only applications for restaurant relief for women and racial minorities will be processed in the first 21 days, sending everyone else to the back of the line. As the courts recognize, the danger is that the SBA will run out of funds because before these other applications can be considered. Federal judge in Texas ruled that the SBA's Restaurant Revitalization Fund was wrong to distribute $28.6 billion in COVID-19 relief on the basis of its owners' sex and race. So we read about this. Seems like that judge has ruled against the federal government for that. And anyway, you can read the rest of the story here. It's from Hot Air. Let's see here. All right, let's talk about a little bit about Tulsa. Someone mentioned that they live in Oklahoma and they're finding it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got it mixed up here. Let's talk about Rutgers University. So, this has been kind of a crazy thing happening at Rutgers University where they made a big statement. So recently, we've heard about all the anti-Semitic attacks on the East Coast, West Coast, whatnot. And so Rutgers put out a statement against anti-Semitism. Okay, didn't talk about the Israeli-Palestinian kerfluffle from the past few weeks, and strictly made a statement about anti-Semitism. And I got all these tabs here that are open. They had the title of the university-wide communication is called Speaking Out Against Acts of Anti-Semitism and condemning that, right? Well, then some Palestinian group or Palestinian support group had a little problem with that statement and started and saying that on behalf of the Students for Justice in Palestine at Rutgers, they weren't happy with that statement. They made an 8-page statement regarding that, right? So then Rutgers comes back with an apology. Where is it? I didn't close that, did I? Oh, here it is. They came back with an apology about making the anti-Semitic statement to their faculty and students. So they apologized for doing that, saying that, well, we didn't really think about the Palestinian side of this and yada yada. Well, it wasn't about the Palestinian side. This was about an anti-Semitic attacks the U.S. And now the students they are not accepting the apology. It's fascinating. So anyway, now Rutgers presidents clarify stance against anti-Semitism over outrage over New Brunswick chancellor's policy. Rutgers, this quote here they put here is, Rutgers deplores hatred and bigotry in all forms. We have not, nor would we ever apologize for standing against anti-Semitism. Rutgers University President Jonathan Holloway posted sometime Saturday in response to the backlash. So, and I have, like I said, I have these, all these letters, tweets, whatever, in the Instagram post are all going to be in the tabs, in the links in my single link down at the end of the show. So, Legal Insurrection reported Saturday that both the chancellor and provost of Rutgers New Brunswick issued an apology to students the day after penning a letter condemning and pointing out the rise of anti-Semitism in America. In the condemnation letter they posted Wednesday, Rutgers New Brunswick Chancellor Christopher J. Malloy, I guess, and Provost Francine Conway wrote that the recent resurgence in anti-Semitism demands that we again call out and denounce acts of hate and prejudice against members of the Jewish community and other targeted and oppressed groups on our campus and community. Now that shouldn't be a controversial statement, right? Well, the letter referenced the current Israeli-Hamas conflicts, but in neutral terms, while noting they hoped Rutgers could serve as a model for institutions that respect and value the dignity of every human being. Not long after the letter went out, Rutgers New Brunswick chapter of the Students for Justice in Palestine group complained about how the letter of condemnation focused primarily on anti-Semitism instead of focusing on the alleged experiences of the Palestinian people. They're not talking about the Palestinians. They're talking about anti-Semitism in the United States. The group also demanded an apology, and that they folded and gave them one on the following day. In it, Malloy and Conway said that while the intent of our message was to affirm that Rutgers, New Brunswick is a place where all identities can feel validated and supported, the impact of the message fell short of that intention. Do you have to mention everybody in every letter? I don't know. In hindsight, they continued, it is clear to us that the message failed to communicate support for our Palestinian community members. We sincerely apologize for the hurt that this message has caused. Not surprisingly, the apology letter was not enough for members of the SJP, who are also proponents of the anti-Semitic BDS movement. What is that? Boycott, divest, and something. Anyway. Sometime Saturday, Jonathan Holloway, who is the president of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, stepped in to address the controversy by overriding the apology letter from the New Brunswick leadership and posting a statement of his own. Quote, Rutgers deploys hatred and bigotry in all form. We have not, nor would we ever apologize for standing against anti-Semitism. Neither hatred nor bigotry has a place at Rutgers, nor should they have a place anywhere in the world. At Rutgers, we believe that anti-Semitism and anti-Hinduism, Islamophobia, and all forms of racism, intolerance, and xenophobia are unacceptable whether or whenever or wherever they occur. End quote. In addition to posting Holloway's letter on their website, we learned from longtime blogger and legal insurrection writer Gary Foose that Rutgers also apparently redirected the original 2 links from last week to his Saturday statement, which is why I've included the archive links in the original letters throughout this post. Also, Chancellor Malloy still has his Twitter account on lockdown as of this writing, but Provost Conway's account is still open for Twitter users to read and respond to. Holloway's statement was posted after the Jewish on-campus group went off, Jewish on-campus group went off on the university for reversing course on their original statement condemning anti-Semitism. Now, it's interesting because the Hillel House is I wouldn't say it's Jewish fraternity, but it's a Jewish organization that's on campuses. Rutgers has one of the largest on-campus Hillel House organizations in the country. So then the Jewish on-campus group complained, "We're shocked and disappointed with your most recent statement, apologizing for the condemning the recent spike in anti-Semitism across the United States, according to the okay, you can read that yourself, but they complained. And then regardless of what Holloway had to say, these comments from Ben Shapiro still hold true in my opinion, at least as far as Rutgers, New Brunswick is concerned. Chancellor of Rutgers condemns recent anti-Semitic attacks, then apologized for that condemnation, noting that the condemning anti-Semitism failed to communicate support for our Palestinian community members. We sincerely apologize for the hurt that this message has caused, Ben Shapiro replied, in which the Chancellor of Rutgers says the quiet part out loud, that anti-Semitism and hatred of Israel are intertwined and that you can't condemn anti-Semitism without offending the Israel haters. So anyway, that's the that's the story at Rutgers, and I just can't get it. Everyone's offended by everything, and in that case, I don't think anybody should have been offended. But that's just me. I can't tell people what to be offended at or whatever. Anyway, more on that line of thought, but not completely. The New York Times, who seems to be taking, I wouldn't know. I can't say that they're taking a neutral stance on the thing happening in between the Israelis and the Palestinians, but they published a photo of a girl killed by the Israelis who was also killed by the Israelis in 2017. It was supposed to be heartbreaking. On Friday, the New York Times published a front page series of photos with the headline, "They were just children, a little Palestinian Arab children who had supposedly been murdered by the evil Israeli war machine during the latest round of Hamas jihad attacks." The only problem was one of the photos, prominently featured on the top row, was of a little girl whom Palestinian Arab propagandists using the very same photo had reported murdered by the Israelis in January 2017. It was just the latest example of the fact that Israel's atrocities are so many and so brazen that Palestinians have had to even fabricate evidence for them, and the establishment media eagerly plays along. So let's see. I guess that's not in here. They didn't put the photo in here. But yeah, this happens occasionally with some of these things where they'll dig up an old photo and try to pass it off as something's happening currently. Or I don't know if I showed you a video, was it 2 weeks ago? Maybe it was last week. They had a line of bodies on the ground, the floor, whatever, all covered with sheets, right? And as they take a video panning across all these people who supposedly had perished, one of the bodies he reaches up and scratches his nose under the sheet and then puts his hands back down just as the camera goes by him. So you just never know. Is this kind of a takia? Takia, anybody? Takia. If you're not sure what that means, look it up. All right. More school news. Apparently, parents at an elite New York private school are outraged over graphic sex ed videos shown to first graders. Yay! Way to go. So, and the educators previously came under fire from parents at another school for a porn literacy workshop. Dawg Knight. Hello, scribe. How you doing? Parents at a New York City elite private school, Dalton School, have come out in force against videos dealing with the topic of masturbation that were shown to their first grade children. Yes, they have children's books and everything about masturbation for 6-year-olds. Yes, I said 6-year-olds. Parents who sent their children to the $55,000 a year school. Damn! That was more than I paid for my son's college. Well, he got a scholarship, so I didn't really pay anything for that other than some of his room and board. But that's as much as tuition for a college. Their children going to first of all, what's really obscene is they have children going to a $55,000 a year kindergarten. Good God. Anyway, hello, BoschTube. Anyway, the parents have bombarded the school with complaints about Dalton Director in Health Wellness Justine Ang Font's curriculum. The New York Post reported Font showed 6-year-olds a cartoon during her sex ed class that featured small children discussing touching themselves because it feels good. I love myself. I want you to love me. I love myself. I want you something but me. Love me. I don't want anybody. Okay, I'm not gonna sing the rest of that. Who's saying that? Was that the Divinals that sang touch myself or something like that? Anyway, no, not the Divinals. There was something like that. Anyway, hey, oh, and here's, because it feels, here's a quote from the book. Hey, how come my penis gets big sometimes and points up in the air? A little boy cartoon character says in the video. Sometimes I touch myself and it feels good, he adds. Another quote, sometimes when I'm in the bath or when mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too. The little girl says, character says, wait a minute, too? As in also? You mean, okay, wait a minute. In my bath or when my mom puts me to bed, I like to touch my vulva too. That means also as in somebody else. Oh, good Lord. The curriculum reportedly included multiple lessons on gender identity and gender expression as well. Yes, that's perfect topic for 6-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-old kindergartners. Perfect and fucking age appropriate. Anyway, Font insisted she does not use the word masturbation in her classes, but parents still expressed outrage that they were not consulted about the material being presented to their young children. We are furious, one Dalton mother told the Post. We were horrified to learn that this was shown to our first grade 6 and 7-year-old kids without our knowledge or consent, because it's so hard to fight back because you'll get canceled and your child will suffer. Yeah. If they're teaching masturbation in first grade, I'm wondering if they're teaching by 6th grade. Jesus. Anyway. All right, moving on. More school news. In Baltimore, schools will not hold back tens of thousands of students who failed this year. The district said that about 65% of secondary students and 50% of elementary students in the system are failing at least one class.
Wow.
Yeah, you heard that right. Baltimore Public Schools CEO Sonia Santelises announced that the district will not hold back tens of thousands of students who failed the 2021 school year. The district has 78,000 students. District officials blamed the stupid 19 pandemic since they had to keep the schools closed. You know, even though private schools around the country opened in September without a lot of problems. But I digress. From Fox News, quote, as we approach the end of the 2021 school year, we all recognize that students have experienced incredibly significant challenges and interruptions in their learning, Santelises said. With that in mind, the district has developed a fair and straightforward process for evaluating and recording student progress in the current school year. Santelises added the district has taken advice from faculty, family, students, support staff, school leaders, and others during virtual group meetings since February. The Baltimore Sun wrote the decision affects the tens of thousands of students failing classes this year. The district said that about 65% of secondary students and 50% of elementary students in the system are failing at least one class. In Baltimore has 78,000 students. I know I wrote that number before, but come on, tens of thousands of failing students out of 78,000. This is the school district that not a single high school student passed a math proficiency test. Not one in the entire school district. Or something like that. It was something that ridiculous. Seriously. I'm sorry. How? Not one? I almost don't believe it. That's what was reported. So Chief Academic Officer Joan Dabrowski said the district would test the students in the fall to determine what skills they have missed, and the school will create a plan for each student designed to catch. Was that really loud? I can't tell. Let's see. Chief Academic Officer Joan Dabrowski said the district would test the students in the fall to determine what skills they have missed, and the schools will create a plan for each student designed to catch them up. Well, are the schools even going to open in Baltimore? Aren't they also like one of those school districts where the teachers union like rules the government pretty much? Anyway, thank you, GunFox61, and you are still...
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
It's not new, but you're the only one sponsoring the show, and so I just figured you'd appreciate that. Anyway, it says with the almost 5 is it $4.99. Marty, there is a TV show in European nation that has 5 or 6 fully nude adults and have 10 or 15 or 16 years. Or 10 to 15 or 16 year olds, where the school kids ask questions. Yeah, well, lucky there's still a lot of mustard gas still available. Would you stop that? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I saw about that, and they weren't attractive people either. Yeesh, they were nasty. And if I was a kid, I sure as hell would not want to be in that room. Anyway, hello, check your logic. Hang on, I got a cough and there's the mute. Okay, I'm back. Oh, the district's going to adjust grades as well. Elementary students who had an unsatisfactory grade in a course, and middle students will be with a failing grade will get a not completed. High school students with a failing grade will get a no credit. To hold students back feels punitive, she says. It feels in contrast to the spirit of hope and commitment we are going to make to students. So here's the thing. I can understand if they're failing one class and then they say, you know what, we're just going to ask you to take that class again or something in the next year. We're not going to necessarily hold you back. But, oh my gosh, is that loud? Holy smokes. There, is that better? I don't know how loud that is on your side, but it's really loud on my side. I am really, really, really confused by this. Those numbers are proof that children of any age need in-person teaching to succeed. Well, it helps. Yeah, they need to get the kids back into school. Thank you, Thomas Cleaver, with sending me a bullet of the 223 variety. Thank you so much. Who says, kapow! I thought I'd enhance that a little bit. You like that? Thank you, Thomas Cleaver. I appreciate you sponsoring this show. Fantastic. The more sponsors, the merrier. And because, oh boy, I got a big old car bill coming up. Project Baltimore discovered many students failed at the school. This is in March. Oh, about a student who passed 3 courses. Okay. In March, Mike wrote about a student who passed 3 courses at Augustus Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts, but placed near the top of his class. Oh, that's right. Remember, this kid was like near the top of his class. He only passed 3 classes, and that he was near the top of the class. Whoosh, hoo boy. Anyway, you can read the rest about this later. There's also a school board meeting. Oh, here, let's see. Baltimore has a history of pushing through students who fail, so I don't buy their COVID-19 excuse. Yeah, that's the school district where they didn't have a single person pass math proficiency. That seems to be a problem whether the kids are going to school or not. So they can make all the excuses they want. All right, let's keep going here. Because I'm running time. All right, let's talk a little bit about Tulsa. So there's an event. Oh, first of all, there's a really good thread, or a decent thread here, or an interesting thread. I'll just say it's interesting. About how in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a group of 50, 60 armed black men arrive at the courthouse where alleged assailant Dick Rowland is held to support the sheriff and police department in guarding the building from a gathering lynch mob outside. Some are dressed in their Great War uniforms, aka World War I. The appearance of a black mob incites the white mob, and the sheriff urges both mobs to go home and make peace. So very fascinating there. Let's see here. Oh, well, thank you again, GunFox61. Marty, well, city kids are so bad in some areas where businesses see them as unhireable due to they cannot even do simple math, writing, and language. This is why ban all public unions. Yeah, I am not at all a fan of public unions. And right now they don't seem to be helping out the kids. See, there's, they're the ones who fight charter schools and different alternative types of schools that actually work. And not all charter schools work. I can't say that they all do, but you know what? We got to figure out something else in education where, if kids are graduating from high school that can barely read or do any basic math and we're not talking, they don't have to know how to do, calculus or trigonometry. I mean, just basic math would be helpful. And a lot of kids just can't coming out of school, and it's crazy. And it's then you complain about the despair and stuff that people have and ended up in poverty. But the simple thing is to actually pass courses and be able to do something besides, thumbs on a video game or take Instagram photos. I don't know. It's very, very frustrating. Anyway, thank you, GunFox61. I appreciate that. The almost 5, another almost 5. So perfect. So now there's this event down in Tulsa commemorating the Tulsa Race Massacre. It's when what was known as Black Wall Street back in the I can't remember what year it was, but 100 years ago today. So 1921, where this very successful black community, businesses, banks, all kinds of things, near Tulsa, Oklahoma, there was a big kind of a war between them and the nearby poor white folks. And are we still live? Hang on a second. Okay, you guys can see me. It said the stream disconnected. That was weird. Okay, we're good. All right, we're back. Just want to make sure. Okay, we're good. Okay. Anyway, so an event intended to commemorate the 100-year anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre was suddenly canceled after the 3 surviving victims demanded $1 million to appear and $50 million donated to the reparations fund. Singer John Legend was to host the event with a keynote address given by Georgia race activist Stacey Abrams. Other events associated with the commemoration will proceed as scheduled, and Joe Biden will be in Tulsa on Tuesday. Attorneys representing the survivors had originally agreed to a $100,000 appearance fee for each survivor and $2 million in reparations. Then suddenly, attorneys upped the appearance fee to $1 million, and seed money for the Reparation Commission demanded $50 million. State Senator Keith Matthews, who chairs the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre Centennial Commission, said, "We raised the money and we're excited the survivors were going to accept these gifts," Matthews said Friday. Unfortunately, on Sunday, they reached out and increased the amount of $100,000 per survivor gifts to $1 million. And instead of $2 million, they asked for $50 million. $50 million in seed money. We could not respond to those demands. Attorney Demario Solomon Simmons has a different perception of what happened. After months of zero communication and under immense pressure that John Legend and Stacey Abrams may no longer participate if the survivors were not centered, a meeting was scheduled for Saturday, Solomon Simmons told the AP. Immediately following that call, our legal team submitted a list of 7 requests to ensure the survivors' participation with the commission's scheduled events. According to the Daily Mail, the crux of the problem is that there are 2 different commissions set up to commemorate the event. From the Daily Mail, disagreements among black leaders in Tulsa over the handling of commemoration of events and millions of dollars in donations have led to 2 disparate groups planning separate slates of events marking the massacre's 100-year anniversary. It sounds like a money grab a little bit, doesn't it? Is it just me? Anyway, in addition to the Centennial Commission, Black Wall Street Legacy Festival has scheduled a series of events over the next several days as they will continue as planned. Solomon Simmons is associated with the Legacy Festival along with City Councilwoman Vanessa Hall Harper and Tiffany Crutcher, the twin sister of Terrence Crutcher, an unarmed black man who was shot and killed by a Tulsa police officer in 2016. Now that's from the Daily Mail. If you not remember Terry Crutcher, he's the guy who he was on PCP and parked his SUV like in the middle of the road, and he was wandering around. And then as police came to figure out what was going on with the guy, he started walking toward his SUV, and he reached inside the window, or reached, as in like reached for something in the car, and a female officer of the group had shot him, and he died. It's one of those where, if again, he was on, then they found out later he was on PCP, but officers got their arms trained on you, and you reach into a car, that's not a good idea. And it's hard to tell if that was just the effect from the PCP or what he was doing, but kind of a tragic thing. And the officers were not, I don't even think they were reprimanded. I know they were placed on leave for a while, but the fact that he literally there's video of him reaching in his car and the female officer shot. I don't know what I'm not 100% sure what the how that ended up. Anyway, in the middle of this are the survivors: Viola Fletcher, 107, her brother Hughes Van Ellis, 100, and Leslie Bennington Randall, 106. Jeez, that's some old folks. So wait a minute, it's 100-year anniversary. So one was just a baby, and one was 6 and one was 7. Anyway, they have been silent during the dispute, allowing their lawyer to do all the talking. In April, Solomon Simmons sent a cease and desist letter to Armstrong, the commission's project director, over the use of one of the survivors' name and likeness in promoting the Greenwood Rising project, a 7,000 square foot museum being constructed in Greenwood to tell the story of the massacre. The commission also booted Oklahoma's Republican Governor Kevin Stitt from a panel after he signed a bill that prohibits the teaching of critical race theory in public schools, and U.S. Senator James Lankford also stepped down from the commission in recent weeks. Lankford's office cited a drift from the original goals of the commission to a more partisan political agenda as the reason for his decision. It's all about the money, Senator Junie Eason McIntyre, a member of the commission, said. Isn't that usually the case? The commission has been fundraising for 2 years and had accumulated $30 million. More than $8 million had been earmarked for a museum, which has also become controversial because it will be in a gentrified Tulsa neighborhood in Tulsa, not in a black neighborhood. So it's basically race and money politics now, instead of commemorating this event that is I think it's an important event to commemorate in American history, and they're screwed it up. Anyway, also Hannah Nicole Jones. And there's an article in the New York Post today, how Americans must join hand to stop the 1619 Project's poisonous slander. I just popped this out. You can read this yourself, but this poor, and I don't mean sad, but lacking amount of scholarship in the 1619 Project probably shouldn't be taught as history. There's so many, even liberal historians say that this is mired in errors and just misstatements and interpretations that that it shouldn't be taught. But anyway, on the first day in office, President Biden signed an executive order abolishing the 1776 Commission established by his predecessor. But the 1776 Commission isn't going away quietly, and all Americans should be grateful for that. While the stated intent of the commission was to help prepare for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration. Wait a minute, 250th anniversary? 1926. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I am old. I remember the bicentennial. 1976. I was just like 6th grade, just finished 6th grade. And now the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up. Holy crap. Okay. That's crazy. That's wild. Yes, it's woke racism. It's woke racism grievance grifting. That's what it is. Anyway, hello Bishop. How you doing? Anyway, while the stated intent of the commission was to help prepare for the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, then President Donald Trump's real purpose was to correct the lies told about our founding by New York Times 1619 Project. You know what? Y'all can read this. It's just basically because the 1619 Project is saying that America's true founding was in 1619 when the first African slaves came on these shores, and that But that's almost silly because we were controlled by the king at the time. And the first slaves that came to the shores were still under kind of an indentured servant kind of deal. And it wasn't till, what is it? There was later that the one of the colonists who came up with this concept of permanent slavery was just happened to be a black slave owner. So anyway, you can read this editorial. It's interesting, and it shows how, you know, so this 69 project was really debunked, I suppose would be the word, you know, by historians. And yet now after a little while, there's people still trying to put this in schools. And so it's really unfortunate. So anyway, this article tries to teach people how to fight back against that. So you can check that out in the tab at the end of the show. That'll be in the description down below. This guy who was a Navy SEAL was talking about how he left Hollywood because he couldn't express his love for the country. Former Navy SEAL turned actor Cade Courtley claimed he left Hollywood because he couldn't express his true core values. Courtley opened up about going from Navy SEAL to performing Hollywood stunt work during an interview with Fox News published Monday. Courtley even hosted his own show, Surviving Disaster, in 2009 before making the decision to leave Hollywood for about 5 years ago. He says, I guess every individual has to make a decision, Courtley told the outlet. What's important to you? Being able to freely express your opinions and your beliefs, because if you can't do that, I can't think of anything more un-American than being afraid of expressing your opinion. And if you express your opinion in that business, you're not going to be working in that business if you have patriotic or conservative values. That's just the reality of that business, he continued. So I made a personal decision that my beliefs are more important than getting a pretty decent paycheck in that town and having my own TV show. I am super happy with that decision. Courtley went on to create his own business, Victory Coffees. He pitched the business on Shark Tank back in 2016, but received no deal. Courtley is still in the business. But now he can tell people what he thinks and whatnot. So he left Hollywood because they wouldn't let him. All right. Almost finished here. Let's try to get through this real quick. Now, this is interesting. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from the French Open. Now, she was having some problems. She was, the part of the tennis circuit is part of your job is to do interviews post match or whatever. You know, in most sports they do that. The post game interviews, so to speak, is part of the process. And she was skipping post game interviews or post match interviews, and was being fined by the USTA, or not USTA, but whatever the national circuit is that runs these tennis matches. And so now she's announced on Monday that she's withdrawn from the French Open and is going to take some time away from the court. Earlier, organizers said that the tennis player could face expulsion from the tournament and future Grand Slams if she continues not to speak to the media. Last week, Osaka said she would not participate in any news conference during Roland Garros to protect her mental health. And then she was fined $15,000 in the wake of her infringement of mandatory media interviews. Interesting, because we just read a story last week that she is I think the third highest in endorsement deals for an athlete, with 55 million endorsements off the courts. And so it's fascinating that she's going through this. It's unfortunate. She seems to be a good kid, although she's really into the political causes, and maybe not knowing everything she's talking about, but still, I don't care about that. She's a great tennis player. And, if she's having some issues, mental health, I hope that she gets the help she needs. Anyway, thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show with an almost 5, aka $4.99. It says, "Good morning, all. Happy Tuesday. I'm at work and would have to listen later." Well, thank you, Chicago Mike. Appreciate the support on the show, and thank you for being sponsored today. So, and be safe at work, and hopefully we'll hear from you later. Donatello Slapfell, what's happened? Mandatory interviews. Yeah, they that's just part of the being a sports figure. I noticed someone on Twitter saying, they should, what do you mean she has to do mandatory interviews and blah, blah, blah. If they didn't have the interviews, maybe she'd have better mental health. Well, look, Part of the reason sports are popular is because the athletes talk to the media afterwards. And that's part of the deal when you sign up for any of these major sporting events, that at any time you're going to ask to be interviewed. And that's kind of part of the game. So, but you know what, if she's just, stressed out by the interviews and stuff and she needs to take some time off, then it's better she take herself out of the tournament than be expelled from the tournament. So, best wishes to Naomi Osaka. She's quite the tennis player, and hopefully she'll get back on the court soon. Just something I caught over the weekend, Gretchen Whitmer, everyone's favorite governor from the state of Michigan, apparently the court says that her recall petitions can proceed. Yeah, let's, yes, that's the way it should be. This came out Saturday. Recall petitions against Governor Gretchen Whitmer can proceed. A Michigan court ruled on Thursday. The Board of State Canvassers correctly approved with the 6 recall petitions against Whitmer and one against Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist. Judges Kathleen Jansen and Michael J. Godola of the Michigan Court of Appeals ruled Thursday, rejecting one argument made by counsel for the governor as unpersuasive. Whitmer has argued these cases did not adequately describe the authorities cited as reasons for the recall. Plans to appeal the decision, the campaign spokesman Mark Fisk said. Well, if the people want to recall you, they can try. Here's the thing, though, and I was talking to somebody about this who lives in Michigan, and believe it or not, she is, despite the people who listen to me and our opinion of her, she's still quite popular in Michigan, and in particular in Detroit. And kind of what happens in Detroit is what is happening in Michigan. Kind of like in my state, Minneapolis and St. Paul dominate state politics, although the outstate, at least in the state house, the outstate state representatives and senators are trending to the Republican side, but when it comes to the big things, governors, we tend to get Democratic governors most of the time. Although we've had a couple of Republican governors since I've lived here. Good morning, HP Lovecraft. Nice to see you there. All right. So anyway, the judge said that the recall petitions can proceed. Probably not going to go anywhere though in the state of Michigan. Let's see. Oh, so this is an interesting story of a place in Oregon, just outside of Portland, where these 3 moms wanted to come in and talk to the school board about critical race theory and stupid 19 mask mandates. And I'm not going to read it, but I do want to tell you kind of what happened. So these 3 moms signed up to speak at the school board at a closed, no, not even a closed school board meeting. I think it was an open school board meeting. And they signed up to speak, and they were sitting in the, the meeting room where the school board was meeting. And one of the mothers, 2 of the 3 weren't wearing masks, but the third one was not. Oh, place in Washington State, not Oregon. Oh, okay. Is it? Wait, where is this? Hang on a second. Oh, it is a small southwest Washington town. So it's near Portland, but it's on the Washington side. Town sits in the Columbia River just on Portland. Okay, so this is in Washington. So the school board, the members of the school board, the president of the school board, began berating one of the mothers because she was not wearing a mask. Now, in Washington, Governor Jay Inslee, their mask mandate is based on, yes, you have to have a mask mandate unless you have medical or religious reasons why you would not wear it. And she said, well, I am exempt from that because of medical and or religious reasons. And for 20, 25 minutes, the school board president was argued with her about whether or not she should wear a mask. And then they shut down the meeting. And then they reopened the meeting, but closed the meeting so these women could never talk. And so now there was a rally in the town. There's a video of the rally, people trying to support this woman and whatnot. But again, it's one of those I'm not going to get into, but It is in the tabs. You can read that one yourself. Very interesting story. And just shows the lengths at which a school board will go to not hear any complaints. So, and good morning. I see you there. All right. Finishing up, I got a couple for you. Now, this one's this one's humorous, and you got to listen carefully to what's happening here because
economy for a very long time.
hang on. So this is part of an interview or something regarding I think, well, some racial stuff. Okay, but listen to this carefully. This is fascinating. Listen to this carefully and see what you think. It's only 19 seconds long.
So Egypt has been a big player in the global economy for a very long time, thousands of years. So if you
centuries, in fact, because that was like also the starting point of mathematics.
Yes, so thousands of years is more than centuries. So it's a very, very long time that Egypt has been a player. But
did you catch it? Let's just play that one more time. Hang on. Let's play this one more time.
So Egypt has been a big player in the global economy for a very long time, thousands of years. So if you
centuries, in fact, because that was like also the starting point of mathematics.
Yes, so thousands of years is more than centuries.
Oh my
So
goodness, my goodness.
very-
Sub Skinny Dago. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. So anyway, so she's correcting him. Yes, it's for thousands of years. Centuries, in fact.
very long time that Egypt has been a player. But
Well, they've been a player in
so Egypt has been a big player in
they've been a player in the global economy for minutes too, I guess. Now, interesting. I bookmarked this somewhere else. Hang on a second, because if you want to, apparently the entire interview kind of went like this. Let's see. I know I have it here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Because this one actually has the entire interview, and I'm gonna actually put that. Oh, I had it here somewhere. It's someone named Zulika Patel. Here, let's do this in another tab. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this. I don't know who the interview is about, but I just found that quite humorous. Let's see. World-renowned activist and become a spokesperson for anti-racist movements. Together, Zulika and I have difficult debate surrounding race and race relations. Now, is this? Yeah, this is the same guy. So anyway, if you have the stomach for it, listen to the whole thing because it just constant weird points. It'll be in the links below, but it's fairly mind-numbing. I just got to tell you. All right. Let's Egypt has been a thing for a few hours. I know, hasn't it? Centuries and thousands of minutes and even billions of seconds. It's been a player in the global economy. All right, let's finish up with kind of a feel-good. Well, feel-good story is sort of a feel-good story, but about this officer who apologized to a kid for robbing a kid. Interesting here, and I'm just gonna play the video, and this is what we're gonna finish up on. Before you go though, let's do this. I'm gonna finish with this and close it out on this video. So before you guys go and before the end of the video, I just want to remind you. What do I do there? Here, let me get this off the screen. Hit the like button before you go. Or if you're thinking about it right now, hit it now if you like what we do. And also, please share the stream out. Even though it's the end of the stream, you can still share it out. And if you're watching on replay, or even if you're watching live, come back and throw something in the comment section. And finally, you can sponsor the show through SuperChats, YouTube SuperChats during the show, Streamlabs during the show, and 24 hours a day, Venmo, Cashapp. And thank you all for watching today. I'm going to finish with this video, and then we're just going to close out. So I'm going to just give you my I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. But just until this video is over, because I thought it was kind of a nice video. So here we go. We're going to close out with this officer here. And there we go. So here we go. All right. And thanks for watching.
Hey guys, this is Deputy Heyman with the Utah County Sheriff's Office. And the reason I'm making this video today is for a couple of reasons. I don't normally post videos like this, but I feel that I need to make this video and I need to get it out there. Earlier today, I went to the In-N-Out in Spanish Fork to order some food. I just began my shift, and while I was waiting to pay for my meal in the drive-thru, I was on the phone with a coworker discussing a case that we were both recently involved with. And while on the phone, there was a knock at my driver's side window. I rolled down my window, and there stood a little boy who asked if he could pay for my meal.
Down in Warren Springs, 17J.
And being wrapped up in the conversation I was having on the phone, I told the young man, "Oh no, I'm good. Thank you though." "Young man, I want to apologize to you that I didn't give you the attention, one, that you deserved, and two, I want to apologize for denying you an act of kindness." "I'm sorry I denied you that. If anyone knows who this young man is, please reach out to me." He was in a white Jeep Wrangler with his parents, and this was about 3:30 today, May 29th, in Spanish Fork, Utah, at In-N-Out. If anyone knows who this young man is, please reach out to me. I would love to take this young man out for a meal and let him know just how great of a young man he is, and just how sorry I am for denying him an opportunity to be kind. Because that's what we all need right now, is acts of kindness. So young man, if you're out there, I am sorry. And secondly, please reach out. I want to get to know you because you're a fine young man.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.